All right. The prestige attraction cycle. So now what triggers this cycle is, guess what? You want to guess? You want to guess what triggers the cycle? You want to guess what triggers this same cycle? The same thing. Like this is real life, guys. You need to understand this is real life. All marriages start off not knowing what they're doing. Yes, they said I do, but they start off not knowing what they're doing because they don't know what they're getting into. Okay, and even if you told them what they're getting into, they couldn't comprehend it. Okay, they couldn't properly or adequately comprehend what that looks like in real life, right? So they're going to end up in a place at some point where somebody said something is going to feel like rejection. So this same trigger is what we're going to be looking at, right? Because it's not about eliminating life. It's about, in spite of life, how do you win? That's what we're talking about. So you experience rejection. You experience the feeling of rejection. Somebody says to you that I'm not sure I'm not sure I'm in love with you anymore, right? I think we need some space. Maybe the feelings can magically come back. You're right. Maybe not. Okay? But what do you do in spite of panic and fear? Because panic and fear is real. It's not, you're going to panic naturally as a human being, okay? Fear. Right? But let's put that to the side, okay? What if you came to this platform today and you're part of the Prestige Live, and then you learn that there's something called grounding? What if you learn that there's something called grounding? What do we mean by grounding? I'm going to get to that in a second, right? So now, grounding creates awareness. Okay, you're no longer just operating as a person who just experienced panic, fear, rejection, right? You're like, wait, you don't want to be in this marriage anymore? Okay, say less. Let me know when you change your mind, right? Why would you do that? Well, because you have grounding, right? And now we're talking about awareness. Well, awareness starts with self-awareness, okay? Awareness starts with self-awareness, and then that allows you to be aware of everything else adequately, more accurately. If you lack self-awareness, everything you interpret of events around you in life, somebody says, I no longer love you, they're going to be false interpretation, because the frame of reference, the source of truth, is faulty. It's not grounded. See, the source of truth has issues. If the source of truth has issues, not truth, though, I'm not talking about truth, okay? I'm talking about the source of truth. If the source of truth is faulty, your sense of awareness is going to be faulty. Your interpretations are going to be off. So even when another human being is struggling with their ability to commit to a marriage they committed to, you're going to interpret that as self-inadequacy, right? And that's going to shoot self-confidence in the foot. This is why you chase. This is why you're operating place basically out of panic. Remember, I never said panic or fear disappeared. They are just kind of there, but you don't operate from that place. You're not operating from another one. You're not operating from a place of feelings, right? It's very hard. It's easier said than done, which is why you need a supporting system for this kind of stuff, typically, okay? Awareness starts with self-awareness, is what I'm trying to tell you there, right? And awareness allows you to be able to lead. It allows leadership, right? Leadership also starts with self-leadership. You cannot lead anything if you lack the ability to self-lead, okay? So this takes us to a place of leadership. What does leadership have to do with this? I will explain that in a second. But let's just know that you're going to need leadership in this process, because obviously your marriage is in a funky place. So the question is, who's going to lead it out of that funky place? It's probably not the person who is checking out. It's probably not. You know how you're just like, it takes two to tango. It's give or take, right? But they don't want to want to work on the marriage, but you feel rejected, you feel less than. So what are you going to do? Somebody has to rise above the occasion. Well, you're not going to do that without self-leadership. So that starts with self-leadership. Again, it's about how you're interpreting this life event that happens to everyone. It's just that the losers, they go the other route. And the idea here is that I'm sharing with you how to be one of the winners. Majority are going to be losers. I don't know. I'm just telling you the truth, okay? But you don't have to be a loser. Okay, just because life happens to you like it happened to everybody does not mean you have to be a loser. All right. So from leadership, you can create value. You can now create value. Does that make sense? You can now create value. Wait, there was no value? What about moral values? I know. Go figure, right? Moral values. How far did that take you? Just look at the results that you have right now. Where are you right now? Are you happy with where you are? So how is moral value working for you? Well, it's the fault of the other person. You're right. But nonetheless, you are in this situation. How does that go? Well, anyway, when you have value, that naturally creates attraction. I'm going to explain it a little bit further. But that, if you have value, everybody wants to be a part of that. That's how that works. Okay, they, including your estranged, they want to be a part of the value you're creating, and that's a process to get to this place. That's a process, right? So may the best player win, right? So that creates attraction. You see here. Let's put this over here. That creates attraction. What does attraction create? Let's see here. You can finally come back to a place of stability, guys. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Tendo Gloria, sorry about I missed this comment. Say it's not even marriage here, just a normal relationship, but it sucks. I can't even imagine marriage. Yeah, it's real. Shout out to you. Attraction leads to stability. I'm talking about marriage now, of course, but you're right. The same thing is applicable at any stage of a romantic relationship, right? So when you feel a sense of connection back to your partner, and because there's attraction now, that gives you a sense of stability. But to get to that place of stability, we needed to avoid all of that panic path, that fear path. We needed to avoid that, and it's difficult to do that. It's easier said than done. The path I'm showing you right now is easier said than done, but it's doable. And if you're aware of it, then it makes it a little bit easier. You now know the path to take. If you ever find yourself in a place where somebody say, I no longer love you, I'm no longer in love with you, you now know that the worst thing you can do is start chasing or start moving from a place of panic. You need grounding first, because if you attempt awareness without grounding, it will fail, because there's no foundation for it. It will fall apart. You might even build a little bit. It's like a Lego. It will fall apart. All you need is one little bit of trigger. One morning, she moved her face a certain way, or he, right? Your partner moved their face a certain way, and then you're like, wow, how did we get here? The marriage is gone. Like you feel an intense feeling of rejection, and then you're triggered all over again. It will fall apart if it's not grounded, is the point I'm making here, guys. All right. And stability represents is going to help you with more grounding, because it's a cycle too that feeds itself, just like the terrible cycle I shared with you earlier on. Okay, so that circles back around grounded. It makes your grounding even that much stronger, because there's now evidence that the process works, right? When there's evidence, the reason why this can be difficult is because it's difficult in the beginning, and there's no real evidence. There's no evidence you can comprehend that this is going to work. So you get to grounding, you get triggered, you go all the way back to ground zero. You have to start again. Okay, you started grounding and you got to a place of awareness. You know what's going on. Theoretically speaking, you're aware of what's going on, but because you're a human being, you got triggered, you go all the way back to a sense of rejection. And God helps you. If you're not careful, you're going to, instead of going from rejection to grounding, you're now taking the other easier path, which is panic, fear, chasing, all of that. All right. So there's this crazy path from every, like, if you could get triggered back to rejection easily from any one of these guys, from any stage here. You could be at the leadership stage. Sadly, there's an easy path. There's an easy path that goes right back to rejection. Right? I know. So how do you stay in the black? How do you stay there? You might be creating some value. Everything is looking good. And then, she said something condescending. And then before you know it, you feel rejected again. And now you need a little bit of luck to actually take the path through grounding. But the easier path is panic and